Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Delta Soapbox. Today, what I think I want to talk about is what it means to be a good spouse. And that is such a layered and complex topic that there's no way that I'm going to cover in like 10 ish minutes. But something that popped into my head this week and um, just feel like it's worth talking about because I feel like a lot of people need to hear it, need to look at themselves in the mirror and decide what they want out of their relationship or out of their marriage or whatever. Um, as I mentioned before in I think my first video, I am married. I've got two kids with same woman. um, we've been married for I think going on 8 years now, maybe seven. When she watches this, I'm sure she'll correct me. Sorry, but I I have learned a lot in that time, and I'm definitely not an expert because I have made my own fuck ups in the past, and I've paid for them. But I still think I've learned a lot, um, and I'm sure whoever's watching this, if you're married, if you're struggling with something, I'm sure you've heard the whole additive that communication is key, and it's true. It's 100% true. You got to talk to your spouse. You got to see what's on their mind, what they're struggling with, what they're doing well with, what what they need help with, what you can help them with, which is the most important thing, I think, because life is tough, man. Life is really difficult, and it doesn't seem to get any easier, especially when you put kids in the mix. Um, and the only person to really help you through that is your spouse. And if you have a good relationship, which I really hope that if you're watching this that you do, because nothing can replace that. Absolutely nothing can replace that. My wife and I, we've been best friends for over 10 years now. Really, since we started dating, it was so natural, so organic, and it only grew into a deeper friendship. And don't get me wrong, we've had our spats and our huge arguments that have pushed us, tested us. But I am so thankful that we were able to get through it, make it through it, make it out the other side stronger, and just continue to live life and have a relationship and continue to be each other's best friends. My wife and I met when we were in our early 20s, and now we're in our early 30s, and I couldn't be more thankful for the relationship that I have with my wife. She's an amazing person. Definitely doesn't realize her full potential, but that's why I'm here. I will do everything in my power to help her see what she's capable of and realize and realize that potential. There's so few things in life that are as important as that. One of the only things that could really come to my head right now are your kids. It's your responsibility to make sure your children are molded in the right way, to have the right values, and at the end of the day, to just be somebody cool that you can just hang out with one day. That's really what my ultimate goal is. I just want to raise good, decent human beings, and you can't do that without two sides of that coin, without both parents. And it's super, super important, and I don't think that it gets talked about enough in today's day and age, which is why I'm recording this video. You know, like I've mentioned a couple times before, I'm only 33. I'm not that old. I have not been married for that long a time. Definitely longer than some people, but not in the grand scheme of things. It's pretty pretty new, I guess. Maybe that's probably the wrong word, but it's not that long in the grand scheme of life and milestones and all that stuff. But I think that if you find somebody that you really resonate with, that you can have a legitimate, deep relationship with, that you genuinely love and care about, and would give up anything to be with that person, there is no replacement for it. And again, I just don't think it gets talked about enough. So I don't really know where else I want to go with this little rant. I'm just kind of going off the top as I usually do. Maybe one day I'll write a script for a video, but not this day. um, so if you're looking for somebody, then keep looking, man. There's no other way to put it. Uh, I'll just give some context to my relationship. My wife and I, we met off of Tinder, of all places. I don't know if no, I don't think we were both really looking for something super serious. And then we started talking, and one thing led to another. We ended up getting along really, really well, went on a few dates, and she ended up moving in with me within like, I think it was anywhere from 3 to 6 months. It was really fast. It was really fast, but it's okay. You know, it felt right. It fit. It was the right thing to do at the time, and she moved in with me when we were that new, and we've never looked back. Everything that we have done together, for both good and bad, and that's really it's really the important thing. You know, you got to do everything together. I don't think I would have learned as much as I have without her, and I would hope that she would say the same thing about me. I think she would, but I just feel like it's worth it to put that out there. And the best part about my relationship, I think, is the fact that my wife and I have such an intense foundation. We basically grew up together. We never knew each other when we were younger, teenagers or whatever. We only really met when we were 22 and 23 respectively. I think, yeah, 22 and 23 respectively. And now it's a little bit over 10 years later, and we're still going strong. And it's been a pretty wild ride, especially with two kids now. But I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. Just full stop, not a chance. And I don't think that there is any replacement for that type of bond with somebody else. So if you have somebody in your life that you feel this way about, then hold on to that person, man. Like hold on to them. You're not going to find it again. It is so incredibly rare. And my wife likes to browse social media. She'll tell me this, that, and the other thing about how this couple did, something to the other person, or they got divorced or whatever, and what the reason why. And like every time I hear this, I'm just like, holy shit, this is terrible. It could have been avoided with basically a conversation. And it never goes that route. We live in a time where the divorce rate is something like 52%, something like that. Point being, it's over half, which means that out of every 10 people, out of every 10 couples that you meet, at least five of them are going to get divorced eventually, which is a daunting fact to reconcile with, and to really hope that it would never happen to you. And then I don't think there's any precursor for really predicting that. Maybe there is. I'm not an expert, but I mean, I hasn't been one with me yet. There's has not been a single moment in my relationship and my marriage so far that even made me remotely question if this was the person that I wanted to be with. It was always her. It was always her, and it was such an easy decision from the very beginning, which I don't think many people have the blessing of experiencing. So that it's really special. It's incredibly rare, and I feel like you almost never hear about those types of relationships. I'm not trying to say my relationship is perfect. It's definitely not, but I think that I won the lottery essentially. Like I don't really know how else to put it. And I would not want to go through this life with any other person, and I know she would say the same about me, and that's really all I could ask for at the end of the day. we're great parents. We're fantastic parents. There's never been a doubt about that in my mind either. We're great parents. We're better friends, and it's always fun to see what we're gonna do next, where we're gonna go. Life now is not exactly easy. I work 6 days a week. My wife and I almost never see each other, trying to make ends meet, having to juggle the kids and make sure that there's coverage for them and that they're never alone. But that's kind of the era of life that we're going through right now, and that's okay. That's a part of it. But I am very much looking forward to the day where we can go out and do things again, and be be better friends now, or be better friends, in the future than we are now. Not that we're not good friends now, but I miss spending time with my wife, or at least like in the way that we were when we were dating. We didn't have the responsibility of children and work and our home and cars and all this shit that we got to pay for that just seems impossible. And it really does seem impossible because I feel like every day there's a new thing that I got to pay for that will take away from our bottom line and put us behind the eight ball even more. But I know that as long as her and I are on the same team, that it's going to be okay. And that is something that helps me sleep easier at night. So, moral of the story is, if you have somebody in your life that you care about as much as I care about my wife, then hold on to that person, man. Hold on to that person. Don't let them go, and do everything that you can to realize your better half's full potential, because I feel like that's what a lot of life is, especially if you're married, is just trying to realize your full potential and be the best person that you can be. And it's so much easier to do that with a spouse as opposed to alone. I feel like people might think that it's easier to do it alone. It's not. I've been there alone and with her, and I could tell you from experience, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that I would so much rather do it with somebody that I love and care about and am going through life with than not. So on that note, if you watch this and you got anything out of it, that's all I could ever ask for. That being said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. All right, peace out.